we just take a look at the available free agents. Kirk Cousins, who, there's a lot of talks about him going to Atlanta. Obviously, he's going to have discussions with the Vikings as well. Russell Wilson just got let go by the Broncos, but will come relatively cheap because the Broncos are paying off his money.
Yeah.
Tannehill, Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, Tyler Huntley, and last but not least, we'll say Joe Flacco. So with the exception of Gardner Minshew, really Jameis, how old is Jameis? He's got to be
29.
Yeah, he's 30 according to
30 years old. Yeah, I was gonna say he's close to 30.
So
if not 30.
really, outside of Gardner Minshew and Jameis, all these other guys are relatively older. And the Russell Wilson thing is interesting because I'm curious to get your thoughts on this too, Scott. Are the Bucs, with the way their roster is built right now, is it another situation where, oh, hey, they're kind of a veteran quarterback away from being I don't want to say Super Bowl contender, but pretty much being a team that can reach the second round of the playoffs again? Or should they roll the dice with a rookie, a younger guy, something like that? Because Wilson would fit that mold of like, hey, you get in a veteran, you can kind of keep this ship afloat.
Right.
But then I also think, well, how do we know this isn't the next Phillip Rivers on the Colts or Matt Ryan also on the Colts and that type of situation? So that's kind of both sides that you have to look at.
You're right. And Russell Wilson will be 36 in November, so he's no spring chicken, right?
Yeah. And not everyone's Tom Brady. Not everyone continues to be elite well into their late 30s and 40s in Tom's case.
Yeah, I think the sun is setting on Russell Wilson's career. I don't see a lot of upside in that move. At the same time, he's certainly cost effective because the Broncos will be paying the lion's share of that salary. Some team will sign him just because of that reason, right? But you bring him in and you say, Russell, kind of like last year with Baker Mayfield, and this is if things do not work out with Baker Mayfield and he gets a crazy number, 40 million or above or whatever elsewhere, and the Bucs just say, man, we cannot saddle ourselves to this contract for the next couple of years and cross our fingers and hope that Baker will continue to play at this level. But if that happens, Russell Wilson, I'm not a huge fan of the guy, and I think there's some locker room stuff there. He's kind of a bit of at least he comes across as a bit of a diva. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that he's a good fit for this culture. But if he were to come, let's entertain that theory for a second. If he comes here, there's no way that you can give him the job. I think what you do is you just make it a three-way battle. All right, Kyle Trask, you're in a contract here. Let's see what you got. Russell Wilson, let's see what you have. And at very least, you can be a veteran backup and get us out of a pinch if there's some danger. And I wrote about it earlier today on pewterreport.com. The Buccaneers, Matt, you were there at the combine with me.
Yeah.
They interviewed 5 quarterbacks, 4 of which were formal interviews. That's 10% just about of their allotment. Out of the 45 formal interviews, 4 were on quarterbacks. Those formal interviews were Michigan's J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix from Washington, the Tampa area kid, Tulane's Michael Pratt, and Spencer Rattler from South Carolina, who had a really good week at the Senior Bowl, actually outperformed Bo Nix and Michael Penix there. And then the 5th guy is from University of Kentucky, Devin Leary, who played last year with Liam Cohen. Didn't have a great year, 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and the completion percentage is around 56%. But he's kind of a Baker Mayfield-esque guy where he's had some really, really good seasons at North Carolina State, had some injuries. But there was one year, I think he had 35 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, somewhere in that mix for NC State. So it's interesting. They could draft another quarterback. I think they should find room for a quarterback this year to compete with Kyle Trask because he is in a contract year.
Yes.
But if this team does decide to punt on Baker Mayfield, which I don't think they're going to, I think Baker still re-signs. Let me make that clear. But let's go down that rabbit hole. If he doesn't, then I think they will draft a quarterback to compete with Russell Wilson if they go down that road. And Kyle Trask. What say you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm in full agreement, Scott. In this scenario where Baker Mayfield is not back with the Buccaneers, I think You go with a Gardner Minshew type. I honestly, like entertainment-wise,
I'd
it would
rather
be
have Gardner Minshew than Russell Wilson. I really
Yes.
would.
Yeah. Full agreement there. I mean, even like the things of like Richard Sherman and oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? The running back that says I'm not here, so I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Well,
Marshawn Lynch. Like
Marshawn, yeah.
Marshawn Lynch. Like they've kind of said that Russell Wilson's a weirdo. And like they won together with him.
Right.
So if they're saying that, I can only imagine how bad it was in the Denver locker room.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I wouldn't entertainment wise, it'd be amazing. Re-signing Jameis Winston and come back to the Bucs, I think would be hilarious. Tyrod Taylor is a guy that, like, you know, you're not going to build a franchise around him, but he's gone to a number of places and has started games and to varying degrees of success. He's obviously not going to be a full-time starter, but like for 1 year, that type of situation, I think you would have to sign a guy like that. And then, draft like a Pratt or a Rattler, someone like that, and pretty much have a 3-person competition